tonight. I will be brief. My name is Jim Armstrong. I'm president of the Queenston Residence Association, and I represent that group tonight. We'll be considering the heritage designation of the Laura Secord Public School property in Queenston. You will recall that the QRA came before you in early 2009 to request this designation be made. Council has taken the matter to the Municipal Heritage Committee, whose members, upon considering work from Leo Wallace, unanimously supported the proposed designation. When brought forward to the council, the matter was deferred for further consideration, and it's now back before the council tonight for a decision. QRA is fully supportive of the Municipal Heritage Committee recommendation to proceed with the designation process. As we've indicated in previous deputations, this is a property with a rich and important heritage and a key place within the history of Queenston. There is no need tonight for me to review the history again, as you're all familiar with the documentation previously provided. You have before you the opportunity to make a critical decision affecting the future of this property and to continue to work with council to help preserve and protect our heritage. Either we as a community take action to recognize and protect our built heritage, or run the very real risk of losing the irreplaceable historic asset that connects us to our past. We urge you to make the right decision and proceed with this designation process. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there questions? Sir, Councillor Lowry.
Yes.
Please look around.
Thank you. Through you to Jim. We've talked on this matter a few times. And I went back and did a little research back when we arrived at the Queenston secondary plan, which I'm sure you were very interested in. We have a special page just for the school site in the secondary plan. I would assume that you disagree with what we agreed on at council. On that page it says the policy will allow apartment form is permitted, a 1-acre park, desirable additions to the school should be, the additions to the school should be removed, and new development should have setbacks, building coverage, new buildings with entrance facing public roads, and new buildings of 3 stories and so on. I assume this goes against what you feel and you want to designate this. This should not be allowed, or could this be part of what you're striving for?
Well, with respect to the issue of whether or not this is an important heritage property, and that is the issue to be decided. What happens after that is whether or not consideration, maybe concerns of not consideration of the designation process. I was fully involved in discussion along with many of the people from Queenston, and just to the sidelight, at least from my perspective, we were told at the time by Mark of Urban Strategies that land has a cost, and that in order for a developer to make a success of developing on that property, they would have to have the opportunity to build on that property in order to preserve the school. And that without a secondary plan and some enunciation to that effect of what we might think is okay on the property, a developer would come in and do whatever they wanted. It's not the same thing as agreeing that you think it's a wonderful idea to do all of those things. It's just simply a vision of what could be, as opposed to having some uncontrolled development going on there. I will also mention that our group has a vision of what could happen to that property. There are a few people who are aware of what that's all about. I'm not prepared to make it public tonight because the proposal is not finished. But suffice to say that we'll keep the property in the public domain for the public enjoyment.
If I could just read a quote from the letter back on January 19th. Several of the members have been researching the history of the building pursuant to our intention to make a formal deputation to council for a third-party designation of the school and its property. I guess that's what you're attempting here.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Other questions or comments? Councillor Viola.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Through you, Lord Mayor, I think the concern of some of the Queenston residents is the fact that if That one is designated, the site. I'm not sure how big is the site. And then the accommodating development that will go into it, especially the housing or the buildings. My question is that if you have a developer, to you or mayor, as who's buying it, but if someone who has money and not interested in developing the area and then buy the property, is that acceptable to you? Like a case in point, Lord Mayor, is when we had a problem with the Willowbank, when it was put to market, and then there is a perceived plan of developing it, like massive buildings and so forth, and then someone, a local one, bought the property, and then now it stands as one of the best, I think, schools in best restoration in the area. So I'm just thinking if that's the same line your group is thinking, like have somebody with money, not necessarily a developer, to buy the property.
Yes, basically, we have a minor white papers. We would like to